Hey, it's the Empire. Don't forget to hit the like button, the subscribe button, and the bell icon for more videos. We taking over. Let's go, champ. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button right now. Let's go.
Hey, it's the Empire. Geoboxing Empire. Bachelor Boxing. Now, man, Manny Pacquiao versus Kieth Thurman is happening today, man. July 20th, man. This is one of the biggest fights of the year. Everyone's really excited to this fight, man. And I just know this is gonna be an exciting fight, man. This is definitely gonna be a war, man. You know, I think that both these fighters will be dropped this fight, man. I think this is gonna be an all-out war, man. Now, I'm gonna make a prediction for this fight, man. I think that Pacquiao is a phenomenal fighter, but based on his last performance against Adrian Broner didn't really move too much in that fight. He really stood still, and he was throwing that one shot the whole fight, which was the left hook. And that being said, man, Pacquiao, he landed one clean shot the whole fight against Broner, and he didn't even drop Broner. And I was sort of like thinking, man, you know, Pacquiao was fighting a stationary target like Broner, and, you know, he was afraid to really let his hands go to the point where he couldn't really even drop Broner. You know, that says a lot. Kieth One-Time Thurman's a whole other kind of fighter, man. He's not a stationary target. He moves around the ring a lot. He has power, a lot more power than Adrian Broner. You know, a lot of people forget that this is Broner's, fourth weight class? The welterweight division is his fourth weight class. See, Kieth Thurman's a natural welterweight, and not only that, but he's fought in that higher weight classes before, above 147. So that being said, man, Kieth Thurman has power that exceeds the 147 division. You know, now, even if you're a Pacquiao fan, no one's saying Pacquiao hits harder than 154 champions, you know, or former champions like Jamal Charlo, a former 154 champion. Those fighters, the elite, the best of the best, they hit extremely hard, and it's not normal. Their power is different. It's different than a welterweight power. Even the strongest fighters at welterweight, the hardest hitters like Kieth Thurman and Errol Spence, you know, people will say that these junior middleweights, they hit a little bit harder than them, you know? So that being said, man, Kieth One-Time Thurman, I just see more tools in his shed. He can probably most likely outbox Pacquiao, and he just has more weapons to use. Now, Pacquiao, I think he's good at distance. He can leap in with that straight left. That's the only thing I'm concerned of, because it's so sudden. It's so sudden. It's not really like Pacquiao's jabbing you and he's out jabbing you and things like that. He just leaps in with that straight left and then catches people. You know, Pacquiao's game is more an athletic game. You know, he's bouncing around the ring, so you really don't know distance, and then he leaps in with that straight left because he's so athletic. Kieth One-Time Thurman, he has that same kind of ability, but he's more likely boxing you before he lays bombs in you. You don't just see him leaping with power shots. At least that's not his major part of his game. He can do that, but that's not like a major part of his game. So I just see Kieth One-Time Thurman. I know he looked bad in Lopez fight, but that Lopez fight, Lopez is a phenomenal fighter, and people really underestimate him. You know, if you guys don't remember that, when Lopez first fought Victor Ortiz, he went up 2 weight classes, and then soon after that, he went up 2 more weight classes. After Lopez broke Ortiz's jaw, he went up 2 more weight classes to fight Canelo Alvarez at 155. It was crazy, and he still rocked and had Canelo on the ropes. So Lopez is an extremely tough fighter, extremely tough. So that being said, you know, Kieth One-Time Thurman, I think that in that fight, you know, he even talked about it before in one of his interviews, how he wants to win 7 rounds and he'll coast to the rest of the fight. And I think in that fight he fell asleep a little bit because he thought he won enough of those rounds because he dropped Lopez early in that fight. And he thought that Lopez has to come to me and he has to prove a point. And that's what Lopez did. You know, he just fell asleep on Lopez, and Lopez ended up hitting him with a power shot. But that being said, man, I think that Kieth Thurman has more tools to work with. He has a better jab than Pacquiao. I think he has better hooks than Pacquiao, left or right. I think he actually has better foot movement than Pacquiao. I think Pacquiao moves faster, but I think Kieth Thurman actually has better movement as far as being in position to throw a power shot that's not only on straight left. You know, Kieth Thurman has his straight right is really good. I actually watched the Kieth Thurman Sean Porter fight again, and he did like a pullback straight right counter on Porter, and Porter almost dropped. You know, if you guys want to see, let's watch Porter's fights against really elite level competition like a Sean Porter or Danny Garcia. I mean, it's crazy how much power he has. It's crazy. You know, and he's playing, and like most of the time, you never see Thurman in a position where he's like trying to knock the guy out, just like straight up trying to knock the guy out. He's really selective in the shots, and I think if he really tried to push the pace and really tried to up his volume, he could easily stop Pacquiao. You know, but I do think this is going to be a competitive fight. The best thing to do for Kieth Thurman is to walk Pacquiao down, because if you let Pacquiao stay on the outside and bounce around the ring, that athleticism and that suddenness might catch Kieth one-time Thurman. That's why I think Thurman could get hurt and dropped in his fight. But I think in the end, Thurman is overall better work, and he can easily win his slow rounds in the fight because of his boxing ability. So that's how I feel about it. Let me know how you guys feel about it, though. Like, comment, subscribe. This is the Empire, Geoboxing Empire. Peace.